faces out there. I see everybody out there.
Pono, congratulations. I know this is something that you've envisioned for a very long time. Talk to me about how you manifested this victory here tonight.
Honestly, Corey, manifestation doesn't come without hard work. And I put in so much hard work, all behind the scenes. Everything to this point has been God's work. God has been leading me through the whole entire thing. You know, when I spoke to Ding and he talked to me, he was like, hey, man, you know what? You're a beacon of light. And you're going to be leading it for everybody out there. And that's immediately. I looked at him and I said, you know what, brother? Thank you for calling me that, because that's how I feel. I feel like I'm out there to change lives, go out there and inspire people to do something different in their life. If they've gone through any kind of struggles, adversities, or anything else. And just like tonight, going out there and then get called for a flinch that doesn't look like a flinch, but then go back out there, eat another one, and then deliver the knockout, the KO, and really put all that work on the line right there. So I'm happy with the performance and happy with everything that happened tonight.
Absolutely. You know, Cooper Housley seemed to be very, friendly towards you this entire week. Zero animosity. There was a lot of love and respect shown to each other. How difficult was it to go up there and put all that aside?
None at all. You know, I'm the same way. So he gave me a lot of love too, and I gave him love right back, because that's exactly how I answer everything. It doesn't make any sense to be mad at something like that, right? I know that he has a family. He has a three-month-old baby that he's got to go home to and take care of that baby and take care of his wife. And when I see that, I look at him and I look at myself too. Is that I'm over here doing the same exact thing, doing stuff for my family, doing stuff for God, and just working my way up.
On that final strike, did you think he was going to get up?
From the look, no. As soon as I looked down and I could see that his eyes was rolling, I knew that it wasn't going to be a get up at that moment. I knew that he was going to stay down the whole entire time, and it really brought back that feeling of looking at when he fought Lorenzo and what he looked like when Lorenzo hit him, even though with the DQ. So once I saw that in his eyes, I knew that he wasn't going to be able to return back up and get up.
I mean, one last one. One of the main motivations for you to join Power Slap was to reconnect with your daughter. Can you give us an update on that?
It's solid. It's solid. It's a blessing. I haven't spoken to my daughter in 13 years, and then her best friend reaches out to me, right, through the whole entire thing with Power Slap, with Season 3, and the reuniting with my daughter is probably the fire that just fueled that. I knew that my family is going to be together after this. And my love for Power Slap, the sport itself, and for all the fighters out there, it really was holding on my shoulders. I wanted to change lives. And even with Season 3, I wanted to go out there and be the most impactful person that there was. And now I get to share that and cherish that with my daughter and really be there for her. And, it's 13 years that I haven't seen her. So now it's more of like how to accept the fact that I wasn't there and how to fix everything that I had going on at the time and being able to be the best version of myself and the best dad I can be.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. What's up?
Hi, Pono. Congratulations.
Hello.
So when you were on road to the title, you broke your right hand, and this was your first time using it. Did you have any concerns going into this match?
I did. I'm not going to lie. It's at a certain point after the physical part of it, it becomes neural. I have to think as much as I can to make sure that the physical therapy part is good, that I'm consistently doing what I'm supposed to do. And at that moment, I realized that, hey, you know what? That right hand, even though it's very powerful, you still got a little bit of trauma to it. So there was always doubts in the back of my mind that something like that wasn't going to be the way it was. And I thought he would have eaten that slap and looked at me and then returned another. But at that moment, once I made connection, I knew that with the injury, with no injury, with everything else against me, all the adversity, all the resilience and bouncing back, I knew that it wasn't going to affect me at that moment in time. But it played big on my mind for a while.
And how's it feeling right now?
Awesome.
Good to hear.
Especially with the win.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good. Perfect. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Champ, congratulations to your left.
Hi, thank you.
What was your take when it was over? Were you confident that you had done enough?
This time I was a little more confident, yeah. Last time it was a little closer. I think the foul is definitely the deciding factor in the fight.
When you get the 248-46 scores, right, that's a big difference, right, and where there's only 1 point. What went through your head when you heard his score?
When he got the middle round, I was thinking like, oh man, I know it wasn't this close again. I know it's hard because you're not a judge. You're just up there performing as best you can. So, yeah, it's tough. Thinking you're doing enough and putting it in the judge's hands, it's like, it's tense.
When you do this, like, is there adjustments that you can make from one fight to another? Like, you can see what works or what doesn't work. Is it just, hey, I just have to be technically better the next time?
You definitely have to go back and watch your film, watch everybody's fight, watch the event over again numerous times, and analyze and break it down. If you want to get better and keep up, especially with the judging, if it changes at any point, then you want to be on top of the things that give you the best advantage to win. So if you're not doing that, you're falling behind. So
can you give an example of what that would be then? So because that's kind of something like that we just watch and we see, like, hey, you're smacking the shit out of somebody. Like, are the kind of subtle changes that you make in that?
Yeah, because it's a game of literal centimeters in all aspects, the feet, the placement of the strike, the flinching, all that. It's a game of literal centimeters. So if you're not dialing in and being very, very particular about what you're practicing, then, it shows out there when it's showtime.
And my last question, both of you landed some really good slaps. I see you show the markings on your face. Did you, was there any one that, you felt more than any other?
No, I ate them all pretty well. Some people might argue I wobbled on one of the rounds. I think I'll have to go back and watch it. I didn't really feel rocked at all during the fight, so I think I took it pretty well.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Can you explain you're over here, sorry. Can you explain your little doll? It's not a doll, sorry. What's
Grimace?
Yes. Can you explain
yes.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, so Grimace is a part of my gym, and he kind of goes everywhere with all the people that come in and train with Coach. So he's been to like 30-something states, few countries, and he sits on top of the water container, and we tribute change dollars because he's a little good luck and sometimes bad luck. Like, you really have to treat Grimace good. So, last time I was here, I almost left him at a podcast. It was almost drastic. So this time we're treating him good. He's up here being safe. We got some pictures with some people, so I think we're bringing some good luck home.
Your opponent had a lot of people in the crowd wearing their wigs. What could your fans wear to represent you?
Like a big Michigan foam finger thing would be cool.
Okay. What color? Michigan, is that yellow?
Just like the hand shape. It would be. It could be blue and yellow, or probably Lions colors right now because they're going to win the Super Bowl. But yeah, it'd be like hand shaped. I think it'd be cool.
There were cards going around the crowd. Everybody was getting some trading cards. Imagine your life just a year ago. Could you have imagined that you'd be on a trading card? Maybe you knew a year ago. I don't know. No,
not at all. And no, coming into the sport, having a few wins after a year, thinking, oh, this is kind of cool. And now we have trading cards, and now it's like trading cards that won't be released. Everyone's trying to get their hands on them. Everyone's trying to get me to sign them. So it's a pretty crazy experience. It's cool.
What about your opponent missing weight? What did you think of that?
It's tough. I was right there in the sauna with him on the last day, before we weighed in for cutting. So that last 6-7 pounds, being in the sauna and being right there with him, I was able to sweat. And him being in his room cutting weight a couple days beforehand is what ultimately cost it for him, because we're in this 180-degree sauna. I'm sitting here dripping, boop, 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 and he was dry after 10, 15 minutes. I was like, oh, it's going to be tough for him. And I stuck in there. I was having a hard time myself, just trying to get down right onto weight because I was eating and treating myself good, trying to stay healthy and be strong as I can be. So, yeah, it's tough to miss weight, especially point something. It's real hard. I feel bad.
Thank you.
Hello. Hello, over here.
Hey, how's it going?
Miguel from Mexico. Just wanted to ask you, where does the nickname come from?
Babyface. So I've always looked young, and I don't really grow a good beard. So I figured it was between the two nicknames, Black Eye, because I have a permanent black eye, and Babyface. And I said, well, what if I shave my face and don't grow a beard and show these guys that I'm actually just tougher than all of them, Babyface it is. And I signed, that's my nickname. That's how it happened.
All right, Anthony, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Over here. Hi, congratulations.
Hey.
So about a week or two ago, I believe you posted a picture that you were on weight. So did you gain a couple extra pounds in between then that you had a struggle to cut?
Yeah, so before Thanksgiving, I'd done a few 3-day fasts the month prior and came down from around 195. And I sat her at like 167 the day before Thanksgiving, so I was like, oh, cool, let me eat a little food here now. Day of Thanksgiving, I weighed in at 170, ate up to 175. Said, all right, let's coast this out until fight week, and then we'll see where we're at. And I kept, eating good and drinking water, staying hydrated. Ended up being around 176 the day of weigh-ins. So straight to the sauna to cut my 6-7 pounds, thinking it was going to be pretty easy. It was actually kind of tough, so I'm probably not going to do that again.
All right, and then I believe in your post-show you said that this one was tough, the third one's going to be harder. So do you feel like you need a trilogy with him since you beat him twice already?
I believe we will face again when he challenges for the belt again. That's where I think it's going to happen.
Not immediately, though?
I think I'll probably have a match in between. Someone else will probably get a shot. We'll see. And
then were you surprised when the refs actually did look back at the tapes? Because you called the neck and they called it fair. And then they usually don't look back at them again after they call it.
See me up here striking and judging at the same time? I'm going to be one of the greatest in the sport. I can just tell from how you take strikes, I can tell what's legal and what's not. That one definitely wasn't, and I felt it. So I was prepared to argue to the death for that one. I'm glad they overturned it. I was actually surprised they did that, too.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Thanks. Okay. Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys.
Congratulations, champ.
Thank you.
Over
Thank
here
you.
to
What's
your
up, everybody?
That was quite a performance. Looked like you might have been out of it and down, and you come back to win that. Is that your greatest win, just given what you accomplished and overcame?
Honestly, yeah, it was my greatest recovery. I mean, people who've seen my 2 losses here at Power Slap, similar situation, got put on my ass and then got right back up, but they called it off at that point at those times. But I took a knee. I just took my time. I waited for that 8 count, and then as soon as I heard the 8, got right up, and I was good.
You kind of had the mouthpiece hanging out, so you seemed like you were with it. I know you were buzzed, but I mean, you were composed enough to, hold your mouthpiece and everything. So how bad was it? Was it one of the worst ones, or was it?
He got me pretty good, I'll say. I mean, it was up there with the top ones. So he got me really good. I just took my time to recover, and I got my composure. But, I mean, definitely Brandon is definitely probably the top contender right now to go against me again. That's why I said I'd give him the rematch. But, I mean, the person I'd really love to slap in the face is Jake Paul. I mean, who does it? He's gone against boxers, MMA fighters. Let's see if he could come in there and stay.
How old are you? You're not 58, are you?
Oh, I'm 33.
Yeah, you're too young.
I'm about to be 34. Maybe I make the cut. I don't know.
Yeah, you'd be old enough at that point. What was your take? There's a mild little bit of controversy over Jason's stoppage after when you hit him there. From your standpoint, did you think the fight should have been stopped?
I think it should have been stopped. The only reason why he didn't take that knee. If he would have taken the knee, they would have no doubt allowed him to go again. I think it was because he didn't take the knee. He tried to get up so fast, he didn't really get his bearings. But it was a very close call. It was a very close call. But again, I just got off the phone. I was like talking to his brother, and I told him the same thing. I was like, hey, if he would have taken that knee, we would have still been going.
It's kind of interesting. You were talking to his brother, right? Like, the champ was in here before. He was talking about doing in the sauna with the guy he's fighting, right? So this sport is different than boxing or MMA, where you know. I mean, I know in those sports too, the fighters tend to be friends sometimes, but they keep things separate. And slapping, is it common that you kind of intermingle even when you're going to fight?
I mean, me personally, I like to. Not just because we are friends and stuff like that. You also get an inside look, you know. And to me, it's kind of a mental game, because power slap isn't just physical. It is mental too. So when you're super close with somebody, you know, they kind of open up a little bit more. So it is pretty cool when you become super close with somebody, and then at the end of the day, you're going to go up there and slap the crap out of them as hard as you can.
Did you guys get a chance to talk in the back after it was over?
Not in the back after, just up there on stage. And then, I mean, we talked about this before. We already knew we're going to probably end up running it back.
Interesting. Finally, do you know, like, when you landed that strike on him, can you feel that, like, kind of through your body? Like, do you know, hey, I got that one, I landed that one?
Absolutely. On the first one, I mean, I was upset with myself. I got the fingers. That was it. That's all he received was a finger slap from me. But on this next one, I knew I hit the button right at that moment, and I felt it. Thank you. Thank you.
Over here.
What's
Hi.
up?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Were you surprised by his power?
I was. I mean, he had pretty decent power. I'll say he's up there with John Davis. I'll say he found my button a lot faster. That's what it was. So he got me right on the button. So that's what put me down. And, you know, like I said, I took the time to recover, and I did what I had to do.
Okay, and then you guys both took this fight on short notice, and this is probably one of the fastest turnaround titles for power slap. How does that feel?
It feels great. I mean, if they want to call me for Saudi Arabia, I'll go to Saudi Arabia too.
That one you have a little more time. It's 8 weeks, not 3.
Yeah.
And then you had your daughter in the crowd. Was that her first time being there?
Second time. She was here when I knocked out Wesley at Fontainebleau.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you and Brandon had a bet. Do you know what shoes you're going to pick out?
Oh, I already know.
Okay, and then, you know, this is your first title defense, and are you hoping the organization brings it to Puerto Rico one day?
Oh, absolutely. If they go to Puerto Rico, obviously I got to be on the main card. I got to be the main event.
Yeah.
So let's make that happen.
Well, congratulations, and
Thank you.
Right here. So you said Yankees in 6 in October. What happened there?
I did. I'm so upset. I have to cross out that side of my tattoo now. No, I mean, I was a little upset. I mean, but we could both say Ohtani and Judge both shit the bed on that one. They both didn't perform there, but obviously Dodgers ended up being the better team.
Talk about Peanut the Squirrel real quick. I saw your friend was in the crowd. He made a big bet on you. What does that mean? Does that provide extra motivation when you see people are wagering their hard-earned dollars on you to win a fight?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that right there, it was heartfelt to me. I didn't even think about, you know, the bet and stuff like that. I've been following Peanut and Mark and all them for a long time on TikTok. I remember my daughter showing me a video, and I was like, oh, I followed them right off the bat. And then when I got to meet them yesterday and they got to come, I mean, it was so awesome because I did work at an animal rescue before, and I was telling Mark, and we actually had a good conversation about that. And, I mean, with everything that they went through and with the government overstepping their boundaries like that, I mean, I was 100% on board, and I definitely had their back. So tonight, I knocked out the butcher for Peanut and Fred.
Thank you. Asaya, hola.
All right. What's up, man?
Por acá. Oye, para los nuevos fans hispanohablantes que...
I'm the only Puerto Rican that doesn't speak Spanish.
Oh, sorry. I was told you spoke Spanish. Sorry.
I'm the only Puerto Rican that doesn't speak Spanish. It's sad. You could blame my dad for that.
Okay.
He wanted to have adult conversations, so I couldn't understand.
All right. Just a quick question. What's the most difficult thing about being a power slapper?
To be honest, the anticipation for the match. Nothing else. There's no nerves. It's just the anticipation to get up there and just knock that person out or take the hit. I knew I was getting hit first tonight, and I knew I was just going to have to brace and just take it. You know, that's honestly the hardest thing is just the anticipation leading up to the fight.
All right. And why should new people watch this?
New people should definitely watch this because, I mean, everybody knows they usually watch UFC or boxing for knockouts now. You know, people used to watch Mike Tyson hoping for a knockout. And same thing with UFC. I know when I was growing up, I wanted to see a knockout. And when you see a submission, you're kind of like bummed out. But now you have the instant gratification for a knockout, and you don't have to sit there and watch matches for, 4 or 5 rounds. You'll see a knockout within a few seconds.
Yeah, the action is quick.
Exactly.
Right. Thank you, Zay.
Mm-hmm.
Just a quick one right here. You mentioned,
sorry.
Talking about the anticipation, you mentioned how you knew you were going to get slapped first. Do you think as a champion, you guys should have the right to pick to strike or defend the strike first?
I think the coin flip is fair. I mean, even before I was doing this with Power Slap, I was doing it in another event, and they always did coin flips. So coin toss is definitely fair, but, I mean, some people who do lose the coin toss, they'll feel defeated right away. But for me, I get super excited. It gives me that adrenaline, So I get hit, I know I'm going to fire right back. You guys good? Thank you. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody.
Canes.
How's it going?
Nerve-wracking?
Just a little bit, but honestly, that was the most fun fight I've ever had in my life.
What made that fun?
Just the fact that it went the full distance. He put on a great show. He hit hard. He took great shots. I'd definitely run it back with him.
Did you feel like Dorian stepped his game up from past times? It seemed like he was better tonight than maybe he had ever been.
Oh yeah, I definitely could tell that he'd been training and working his ass off to, take the belt from me. But, I hope to see him get better and better and one day run it back.
You normally take those strikes pretty good. A couple times you had the crazy knees today. Were you close on any of them?
I wouldn't say I was close, but I definitely felt his power. They were definitely good hits, solid strikes. Rattled me a bit. You get shook when you get hit like that, but I felt confident in taking those hits, and I feel confident doing it again.
What as outside of him, because you had a great fight with him, what do you see the state of the division, and who are the guys that you keep an eye on in the heavyweight division right now?
Other than him, Pono, he had a great performance, so I'm curious to see when he'll get his chance. Hopefully he gets a contender fight soon, and I'd love to run it with him.
One of the bad things, I guess, for you guys, like in a lot of divisions, you can move up and get in. You're going to be stuck being a one-division champion, right? I can't imagine you want to fight a 400-pounder.
Oh, I'd absolutely want to fight Crazy Hawaiian.
You
if they let me do it, I'll do it in January. I'll do it in March. I'd love the opportunity.
So what would you weigh if you had to fight a guy like that?
I'd probably come in at 270. That's probably the most weight I could put on in a short amount of time. It really depends on how much notice they give me.
Interesting. Why would you want to fight a guy that you would give over 100 pounds away to? What is the benefit of you fighting a guy like that when he has that huge size advantage? And you would assume that would help him take your strikes better.
I mean, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. And I want the baddest competition there is. And he's the only other champ that's doing it the way I'm doing it.
Were you impressed with his win over Dumpling?
I mean, it was a win. A win's a win. I don't think it was, anything crazy. It definitely could have been cleaner, better, but, I'll show him what a win is.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Damien. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, so you were just speaking about the crazy Hawaiian. He's actually on a weight loss journey to move down to heavyweight. So would you be open to fighting him at your weight class?
I'd fight him at heavyweight, super heavyweight. I'd prefer to fight him at super heavyweight to, try to take a second belt. If they tell me I can't do that, I have to drop down light heavyweight, I'll drop down light heavyweight, face either Vern or Ron. It doesn't make a difference to me.
Did Dorian's power surprise you?
He did hit harder than I thought he would, and he took them shots beautifully. That's what I'm saying. Like I'd love to run it back with him again, even in an extended match.
Yeah, it was definitely close, so I would love to see that happen again. But during the weigh-ins yesterday, he put some butter on your face. What were you thinking when he did that?
I was just kind of in shock. I didn't expect it. I saw him pulling some shit out of his pocket, and I was just confused before he touched me in the face. I was like, "What is going on right now?" But it's all in good fun. Me and him are probably going to. I have to go buy him a drink after this. Definitely owe him one after winning. So, it's all good fun between us.
Okay, speaking of buying things, the first time you got the title, you went and bought a Mustang with your bonus. Do you have plans to buy anything with this one?
No, just saving up my money right now.
Pineapple pizza?
Definitely not that, but saving up my money. For they've mentioned it a couple of times, trying to go to law school eventually. So, just gonna put that money in the savings and keep on winning.
Do you have a time frame of when you want to go back to law school?
I would love to go back, in 2026, but it's really just how much money I could save up before then.
Yeah. Well, congratulations again, and thank you.
Thank you.
What kind of law? What kind of law? Because I feel like you'd be perfect for injury law.
I was actually thinking about real estate or commercial law. Real estate's a big industry in Florida right now. They're building a lot of housing and developing a lot of new areas.
When you were getting off stage, you were getting booed. Is that something that's kind of new for you? I can't remember that happening before.
I mean, I don't give a shit.
Did you like it a little bit?
I mean, they could hate me or love me. I still won at the end of the day. And as I said before, Dorian was a great competitor. I'd love to run it back with him.
Thank you.
Damien, to your left over here. All right, I just want to get your thoughts on this. So obviously we know the coin toss was in play in every match, but I want to ask you as a champion, obviously you've been champion for a long time. Do you think you guys as champions should get the choice to strike first or defend the strike first, or are you just chilling with how it is?
Honestly, I like the concept of coin toss, leave it up to chance, because, if you're going to be a champion, you can't be afraid to lose a coin toss, is how I see it. And it just adds, a little element of surprise to the sport of who's going to go first. Like, is that going to matter for your match?
Sure, and obviously, I think today was probably the most damage we've seen you absorb in a long time. So when Dorian hit you with that first Skoden, how did that affect you in there mentally, if at all?
I honestly got more and more excited the longer it went, because it's been a while since I've had a nice 5-round match, and honestly, I would love to go further with him.
And obviously, you just mentioned wanting to go up and do some super fight with the Crazy Hawaiian. But are there any other goals you have within this power slap journey you're on right now?
Just keep defending my current belt at heavyweight for as long as I can. Just really cement myself as a legend in the sport, especially in the early years. I really want that whenever you talk about power slap, you got to talk about me.
tonight. The Crypto.com performance bonus winner of the night, again, is Isaiah Quinones. He'll receive $10,000 in crypto provided by Crypto.com. This is actually, I think, the second or third crypto bonus that Isaiah has won. I know his first one of $10,000 he kept in the account and is now up to like $35,000. So this is definitely working for him. We also have Fight of the Night, Blackburn Muniz. There he's going to get $10,000. And then 3 performance bonuses, Pono, Kalani, and Luke.
Can you just give an overall thought of the card? What did you think of it? Any changes you saw that you would want to make for the next one?
I think this was probably the best exciting event that we had so far from top to bottom. Definitely want to get some of the new guys a bit more training, like the women's fight. I think they would have both benefited from a bit more training before we put them in there for the live card, but they stepped up for it. We were actually just talking about maybe carving out an area of Apex to have a little, slap training center. But I mean, overall, I think that was probably the most exciting event we had, and some of the best matches. I mean, that Blackburn Muniz match. I went backstage, talked to both of them, and said, I think when we were building this sport, if I had to paint a picture of what the best possible match could look like as far as a slap fight, that was probably it so far.
There were some trading cards going around in there, and what did you guys think of that? The reception, did you hear any feedback on them?
I haven't talked to them yet, but I know that's a real hot industry right now. That's why we did a deal with them, and I think they're releasing the full set in Q1.
Do you know where we can buy them? Is it just directly through the company?
It'll probably be Leaf and throw a bunch of other places. I'm not sure yet.
Can you reveal any goals you guys have for Power Slap in 2025?
Yeah, I mean, like continue to build on continue to work on what we're building here, more events. You guys saw tonight that we announced we're going to Saudi January 30th. So part of Riyadh's season, Dumpling Hawaiian 2, and Vern and Wolverine for the light heavyweight title. So we'll be back in Abu Dhabi next year. We will likely be in Florida next year as well. So we're working on that down in Miami. So that I think is going to be a really fun event. And, continue to build the business. We got 35 sponsors. You saw people activating outside tonight. We had Netflix here with Squid Games 2. So everything is working, and we're excited for 25.
Speaking of Netflix, is it a possibility that Power Slap could be on Netflix at some point?
We're talking to everybody right now. We got everybody knocking at the door, from online, digital, TV broadcast, cable, and not just in the United States, but across the world. So I think next year, I think you'll see Power Slap across many other platforms too.
Is there any update on Sheena when she might return, if she's planning on returning?
Yeah, I think she's going to be returning soon. We're talking about getting Sheena involved in Saudi.
Thank you.
Frank over here.
Hey.
So you were talking about how happy you were with Manny and Anthony's match. Could they potentially run it back for a trilogy soon coming up next, or do you want to see them fight other people first?
We'll see. This is one of those things where we go back and figure out what to do. Clearly, I think those two are probably the best in the division right now. Mm-hmm. So might make sense to just give those guys a little bit of time to rest. They obviously hit each other pretty hard tonight, but we'll talk to both of them.
Okay, I could agree with that. But also during their match, it was the only foul that was called when Manny clubbed him and hit his neck. It seemed like they called it fair, and then Anthony kind of was talking to the refs about it, and then the refs actually looked back after it. And normally when strikers try to call things after they make a fair call, they don't look at it again. So what do you think about that?
The strikers are definitely not calling anything. If they looked at it, it's because someone in the commission flagged something.
Okay, and then do you think that maybe in the future that the coaches or the striker could challenge calls or not calls being made?
It's something we looked at, but right now we like the flow of the show. The commission's doing a fantastic job. Our instant replay is effectively like a challenge because they look at it every time. So you're getting really accurate calls up there.
Okay, thank you.
You got it.
Thanks, guys.
Cool. Thanks, guys.